What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We have our first college football Saturday of the season. It is Saturday, August 30th. And yesterday had a very good day on our money line / sports books. Player props struggled slightly once again, man. Some of these quarterbacks, we had a lot of injuries yesterday that screwed us on some slips, but we'll go over that here in just a second. Let's take a look at this massive slate that we have today for college football. So I've been listening to you guys on the comments. There's a lot of people who are supporting me on the new style videos, and then there's a few people who just don't, they just don't like it. And it's a matter of opinion. I'm not heavily leaning towards one video style or the other. I'm going to be honest with you guys. The way I've been making videos is harder and much more frustrating for me than just how I normally do things. I was just trying to make the channel better. So I'm going to try to do like I'm going to try to incorporate a mix of both in these videos, and I'm going to stick to how I usually do player props. You guys can see the full screen. I don't want to cut anything out when you guys can see stats. I know that's a lot of you guys like to be able to see that. So I just want to say, for the ones who've been supporting me, I really do appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. Couldn't ask for a better community. I really couldn't. And I'm going to try to make everyone happy. But that being said, guys, I got the slate pulled up on the screen right here. You guys should be able to see all of the games here. And you can see we have a massive college football Saturday, which we love to see. So I'm not going to be going over every single one of these games. Obviously, this would be like a 4-hour video if I try to do a breakdown of every single game. I'm going to go over my favorite games for money lines, for some of my favorite sportsbook bets. Being said, guys, I can't give you the exact ones that I'm running. If I do, then I'd be giving away way too much for free compared to what I give in the Discord. So if you guys want to get all the plays, just join our Discord. I'm going to give you my favorite picks for these games, and you guys can run the ones that you like. I'm going to let you guys use your own mind on this one. Use your gut feeling. If you don't like a play that I like, go with what you guys like, because I'm not going to be 100% accurate. I am going to pick a winner from yesterday's video to win a free month of premium to start this video. So if this video gets 200 likes, I'm going to pick a random comment down below to win a free month. So if you guys want a free month of our VIP, of our paid Discord, you guys can just leave a comment and a like. And if we get 200, I'll pick one of you guys. But that being said, let's pick our winner from yesterday. And the winner is going to be for Silly Girl 0274, who said, "Let's go." Well, Silly Girl, send me a message on Discord. I will get you added for that free month, and I do appreciate the comment. Appreciate the love and support from all of you. I will show you guys some of our dubs from last night. This is not every single money line that we play. I just want to show you guys what we did yesterday. So we took Kennesaw State, Wake Forest. We took the under 20 or minus first half under 27, and you guys can see that one did cash us right there. We had Georgia Tech -3, which was sweatier than it should have been. I'm going to be honest with you guys, watching that game, Georgia Tech, to me, dominated the game, and the score did not reflect how much better Georgia Tech played than Colorado. 3 turnovers in the first quarter, interception, fumbles, like so many mistakes by Georgia Tech that almost made this game a loss, but they did pull out the victory. They pulled out the dub, and I'm super happy about that because it did cash us out right here for $960 cash. We had Georgia Tech. I ran this back twice. I literally had almost $1,000 on Georgia Tech last night, just throwing it out there, and both of them did cash. Luckily, I was getting a little bit sweaty there for the second half of that game. UNLV, we played a teaser on that one, -2.5, and then 54 total over, and that one did cash us out. We had the under 51-point total for Central Michigan versus San Jose State. That one cashed us out, and then I didn't take screenshots of the slips, but I'm going to show you guys kind of what I posted in. I think this picture's ugly. I'm just going to pull up the Discord. Let me pull up this Discord really quick and show it that way. So if you guys can't see the Discord screen, I do believe. So I posted this yesterday, 9 a.m. You can see I gave my 6 money lines, 6 of my favorite ones. I gave my favorite 3 plays for MLB and for college football. Had Georgia Tech cash. Had MSU, Michigan State, -7.5 first half spread, which did cash. Auburn versus Baylor total didn't cash. That one burned me. But the MLB, we swept MLB. So I had Yankees money line, Phillies money line, and San Francisco money line. You guys can see ran New York, Yankees, and Philly together. Got plus money on those, and we swept the board on our MLB yesterday. So great day yesterday overall in terms of profitability. If you guys do want to get all of our plays, or if you just want to join a great community, the community is free to join, guys. Absolutely free. Link to the Discord's in the description. You can join through the Discord link, or you can go ahead and join through WAP if you want to be a part of our WAP. If you guys do want to get every slip that I personally play every single day, then you guys do have to pay either the $25 monthly fee or the $10 per week fee, which is pretty dang cheap compared to what other people are charging. And you're getting more than just my picks. You're getting my picks, my mods picks, and the whole community that we're using. So if you guys want to be a part of that, link to the WAP down in the description. No pressure at all. If you have no interest in that, just don't do it. It's not going to hurt my feelings or anything. But I would love you guys to be in the Discord regardless. So if you're not in the Discord, do join, even if you don't want to join the paid area, because we'd love to have some new people in there chatting, and it's just a great community overall. But that being said, guys, what we're going to do is I think we're going to go ahead and talk about the money lines first, and then we're going to jump into our player props. I'm going to keep this a little bit separate. So I'm going to talk about the games, and I think if you're playing the player props, it's probably good to listen to the game breakdown as well. I know some people don't have as much time as others, or don't want to sit here for 30 minutes listening to me talk, but it's up to you guys. If you want a better breakdown of the game, obviously I'm going to give a very good breakdown first, and then I'll go over my player props for the games after. So I'm going to put a timestamp in the video so you guys can see when I start talking about player props if you want to run it that way, and we'll go ahead and talk about it. So the first game that I'm going to talk about for today is going to be Tennessee at Syracuse, or Syracuse at Tennessee. Technically, this is not a true home game for Tennessee. This says home game for Tennessee. It's not a home game. They're playing in Mercedes-Benz in Atlanta, so neither team's getting a legitimate home game here for the opener of this game. You can see Tennessee is minus 488 favorites, which is juiced out of its mind. Tennessee's minus 13.5 favorites, and the total in this game is over 51.5. The public betting on this, a majority of people are going to have Tennessee to win. 95%, 61% of the money. I don't personally. You got 40% of the money pretty much on Syracuse winning the game, which, I mean, it could be a great upset. I don't personally like that line, just saying. The spread, you got majority of people betting on the spread, and the majority of bets on the spread for Tennessee, and then the over on this game. Most of the bets are on the over, but most of the money's on the under to go under 51.5, which I could see happening, so I did not mean to click that. But let's talk about this game, guys. Do a little breakdown of this game, and let's talk about Tennessee and Syracuse to begin with. So looking at this game, I already said it's not a true home game for Tennessee. This game's going to be held in Atlanta, Mercedes-Benz. Syracuse lost 4 starters for their O-line. They lost their quarterback, Kyle McCord, to the NFL. We've been watching Kyle McCord play some of this preseason already. They did pick up Steve Angeli. He's Notre Dame, and he does have a lot of potential for Syracuse. Syracuse does have that pass-heavy offense. I do think that they could cause Tennessee some problems. Tennessee did struggle a little bit last year in some of those games versus pass-heavy offenses. If you look at some of their losses, it was to these pass-heavy offenses. Ohio State, Alabama, I think Arkansas was one of them. So they had a few tough losses last year that they probably shouldn't have had, and a lot of them were to pass-heavy teams. So Syracuse does have some good looks in this game. Do I think Syracuse is going to come out here and beat Tennessee? No. I really don't. I mean, I'm just going to get straight to the point with that one. Tennessee has a far superior team, in my opinion. Syracuse had a terrible defense last year. They were ranked 104. They were the 104 ranked defense in terms of yards allowed per game. They are bringing back 7 of their starters from last year, so I think their defense is going to be a little bit better than it was last year. That they're going to have a little bit more experience under their belt, obviously, but I still don't think they're going to be a defense that's going to be able to stop this Tennessee offense. Tennessee lost a ton of their core offense. They did pick up Joey Aguilar at quarterback, but I still think Tennessee does struggle a little bit offensively at the start of this game. I do think by the end of the game, they've kind of figured Syracuse out. I don't think Syracuse has enough talent to stop Tennessee, and I do think Tennessee has enough defensive talent to stop Syracuse. So I think this is going to be one of those games to where it could look like it's going to be closer than it really ends up being, or I mean, it could straight up just be a blowout. I really don't know how I feel about this game. My pick for this game, or my favorite pick for this game, is probably going to be the spread for Tennessee. I got Tennessee not minus 13.5, but I got them minus 6.5 for the first half. That's minus 135 odds on that play. That's what I'm probably going to lock in. I'm not 100% sure yet if that's what I want to take. I'm going to kind of look at it a little bit more, but that's what I'm leaning towards right now. So I got Tennessee minus 6.5 first half spread. Played a lot of these first half spreads already this season for the first 2 days of college football, and they've been treating me really, really well. So probably my favorite play. I do think Tennessee's going to end the half by at least a touchdown. So I don't think Syracuse is going to keep it tie game or anything like that to begin to end the half, but we'll see what happens with that game. But that's my pick for that game, Syracuse versus Tennessee. The second game that I want to talk about, we're probably going to skip a lot of these smaller games, and we're just going to get to the meat and potatoes of this slate, man. Texas at Ohio State. I'm talking national championship style game, and we have it week 1 of college football. So this is the game everybody's worried about. There's a couple of other cool games on the slate that I like, but Texas at Ohio State is the game. Ohio State is plus 100, Texas plus 105, Texas minus 1.5 underdogs. Ohio State is plus 1.5 favorites at home, or I had that backwards. You know what I meant. Anyways, and the over on this game is 46.5. So, tough matchup for Texas coming into Ohio State. Can they come into Ohio State, give them an L on the first day? Let's see what the public thinks about this play. So the public has Texas winning 63% of the time, and then you got 73% of the money on Texas. In terms of spread, you got 49% of the bets on Texas and 72% of the money. 75% of the bets and 39% of the money are on the over on this one. So it's kind of split, man. I mean, there's nothing that's really like, other than the money on the money line. There's a lot of money on Texas, but this game really it's hard to have a massive favorite in this one. So let's break down what I think about this game. So looking at this game, obviously in Ohio State has the home field advantage. Is that going to be the best thing or going to be the deciding factor? Who knows, man? You're looking at one of the best, or probably the best defense in the nation last year. But Ohio State lost a ton of their core. They lost 8 players to the NFL, which is absolutely insane last year. Have a ton of talent going for their defense. Their defense is still pretty dang talented and strong. Obviously, probably going to be a top 5 defense this year as well. Who knows? But they do have a lot of new players. They did lose their defensive coordinator, Jim Knowles, to Penn State. So, obviously, the new defensive coordinator coming in. We're going to see how Ohio State struggles. Some new young guys with a new defensive coordinator. I think this is going to be a game where, as an opener versus Texas, an offense that's pretty much coming back. So, their offense lost a lot of talent. They lost 4 NFL offensive linemen, which is crazy. 2 of their star wide receivers went to the NFL. They lost their star tight end. They lost their quarterback, Quinn Ewers. So, Texas's offense did lose a lot as well, but so did Ohio State's defense. And with that defensive coordinator and some new guys, I think their defense is going to struggle a little bit. Obviously, Texas does have Arch Manning at quarterback. He's supposed, in quotes, supposed to be an upgrade from Quinn Ewers. I don't know, man. We'll see how Arch Manning performs. I like Arch Manning. I hope the kid has a great season. I really do. This is going to be a tough matchup for him. There's going to be a lot of nerves in this game for both teams. Texas's offense, I think, is going to be able to move the ball versus this Ohio State defense. I think they're going to struggle a little bit. Like I said, crazy good playoff-style opener in Game 1. Top 3 offense from last year versus a top 3 defense based off last year's stats. I'm talking top 3 offense for Ohio State versus a top 3 defense for Texas. Texas was top 3 last season. Ohio State was like the 4th ranked offense last season. Like, they two really good, like, on both sides of the ball. You got both teams have great offenses, both teams have great defenses. It's going to be a good game. Looking at this, OSU did lose a lot of their offense. They still have a stacked wide receiver core. Jeremiah Smith is coming back or is returning for Ohio State. He had 1,300 receiving yards last year. One of the best wide receivers ever, let's be honest. And that was as a true freshman. So they have a lot to work with. My pick for this game, man, is probably just going to be Texas money line. I think Texas wins this game. I think they're going to have the better team. And with Ohio State's defense the way it is, I do think Texas is going to be able to get the dub tonight. So I'm taking Texas plus money. I got them at plus 100 odds. You can take them at plus 105 if you play it on what is it, Profit X, I think is what that app is. But regardless, and by the way, it does show a bunch of different apps here. I'm using an app called Outlier. If you guys want to try it out for free, there's a 7-day free trial link down in the description. But what it does is finding the best value across every sports book, and it's showing you what the best value is on both sides. So Profit X would be the best value for Texas. Whatever K is here, I don't know what app that is or what platform that is, would be the best for Ohio State. Then the same thing for the spread on this one. So Texas, the best would be on Profit X, and then the best for DraftKings, or the best for Ohio State, would be on DraftKings. So I do want to explain something really quick because I actually totally forgot about this. I had a question yesterday in the Discord. People are wondering how spreads work, or just people who are new to this, wondering how spreads and how money lines work. So they didn't know how the plus or the minus works. They didn't know how what a spread actually means. So I'm going to explain that really quick. Just fast forward the next 10 seconds if you don't want to hear that. But anyways, the way when you're looking at plus money, so for example, Texas plus 105, what that plus means is that if I bet $100 on this play, I win 105. So that's what you would win based off of a $100 bet. This plus does. If you see the minus, on the other hand, a minus means you have to bet this amount to win 100. So I'd have to bet $112 to win 100. Pretty simple, kind of confusing at first if you're new to it, but you'll get the hang of it. So a minus means they're favorited, so you have to bet more to win less, and then a plus means they're the underdogs, so you have to bet less to win more, if that makes sense. And then if you're looking at the spread, Texas minus 1.5. What that means is Texas has to win this game by 1.5 points for this play to cash. So if Texas somehow won by a point, so if it was 28-27 somehow, then let's say OSU missed an extra point or something, then Texas, you would lose your money on this bet, but plus money is obviously the opposite. So if OSU lost by 1 point, then you would win your bet on this one because they're getting a 1.5. So hope that explains things. I know this is kind of basic for some of you guys, and some of you guys maybe not know, but if you wanted to know, this is people who saying they can't touch any money lines in their state. You can on Bovada. I'm just going to throw that out there. But anyway, my pick for this game, I already said Texas money line plus 100 odds. That's what I've got locked in. Next game that I like on this slate, I'm a Kentucky Wildcats fan. You guys know that. I'm taking to Kentucky at home versus Toledo. So looking at this game, you got UK minus 335 odds. UK is our minus 10 favorites. 48.5 point total on this game. You can see majority of the money is on actually Toledo to win this game for the money line. 65% at plus 300 odds. Then you got the spread. 73% of the money is Toledo to cash this 10 spread. I think this is a little bit disrespectful to Kentucky. I know Kentucky's not a great team. I'm a Kentucky and a Cowboys fan. I struggle on both college and NFL in terms of football. But let's talk about this game, man. Kentucky at home in Lexington, start of the season. Toledo, powerhouse offense. Not gonna lie, they have a really strong offense. We'll see what happens. They should have an offense firing on all cylinders. That being said, UK has a strong secondary defense. Toledo is not a team that I think is going to come out here and run the ball all over Kentucky. They're a pass-heavy offense. They're going to throw the ball. Kentucky has a defense that should be able to stop Toledo's pass game. Strong secondary. Kentucky is a team that produces a lot of NFL defensive players. So you got to give credit where credit's due to Kentucky, even though they're a terrible team most of the time. Defense is usually not that bad. So I think the matchup favors Kentucky in this one. I am still worried about Kentucky's offense slightly. Obviously, we lost a lot of our core last year. We did lose obviously quarterback last year was not very good. This year, our quarterback is going to be Zach Calzada. Not sure what to expect from him. We do have a wide receiver core around Zach that should be able to work pretty well. I do think he's going to have some success, and I just hope he's better than Brock Vandergriff, let's be honest. Like this play, man. I like this game. I think Kentucky wins by 8.5. I think they win by a touchdown and a field goal at least, and that's what I'm going to take. I'm taking Kentucky minus 8.5. I bought it down a little bit, minus 8.5 spread, and it's like minus 130 odds or something like that. Minus 10s, minus 103. It's like minus 130, I think is what I locked them in at. But if you want to play that, you can. This one's going to be a little bit more risky, or I say that, but is it more risky than Texas? Who knows? But I do like Kentucky minus 8.5 on this game. That's really all I have to say about this one. This isn't a game a lot of people are worried about. Just want to talk about it as a Kentucky fan. Next game that we have on the slate that I like is going to be Bama versus Florida State. So we got the Crimson Tide taking on the Seminoles. Florida State is at home today. They went 2-10 last year. Florida State plus 488 underdogs at home and plus 13.5 underdogs at home. Total on this game sitting at 48.5. Let's look at the public on this one. Obviously, the public's going to be for Bama. 85% of the money and 96% of the bets for Bama. 85% of the bets and 91% of the money for the spread. And then 84% and 90% of the money for the over 48.5 on this one. So this is a game, man, that I don't know, man. Florida State, one of the worst teams in the league last year, or in the nation last year. If you looked at them last year, man, Florida State was one of those. I was like embarrassed for them. They were so bad. Like, I really looked at Florida State and I was like, you guys should be good, and you're really just not good. And it made me mad. I would get mad because of how bad they are. And I'd be like, why are you this bad? Especially when you would take Florida State to win a game versus a crap team and they would just lose. But anyways, that's beside the point. They were terrible last season. We all know this. They're going to have a tough start to this season as well, playing against Alabama in game one. Alabama is going to be a powerhouse this year. Alabama is always a powerhouse, but this year, man, I think Alabama is just going to be lights out. They got Ty Simpson starting at quarterback this season. He is a 5-star recruit. He does have 0 starts under his belt, so definitely going to be green. Missing Jam Miller as their starting running back. He's not going to be playing in game one this year, and I don't think they're going to need him to beat Florida State personally. Offense is still going to look good. good. A QB should be able to sling the ball, and they got a nice receiving core to back up Ty Simpson on this one. So Alabama's offense should be strong as usual. FSU's defense does bring back a lot of their starters from last year. I think their defense is going to be better this year than they were last year. Obviously going to have more experience. They're going to kind of know what they're doing a little bit better. Not going to put too many cards on FSU, but I do think they're going to give Alabama more problems than we expect defensively. I don't think Bama's going to run up 50 points or anything like that. FSU's offense versus this Bama defense, on the other hand, looks terrible. FSU's offense is going to be garbage. Alabama might have the best defense in the league this year. They're definitely top 3. Alabama is going to be a strong defense to mess with. FSU had the 133 ranked offense last year, which is crazy for what this team should be and who they had. Like, FSU's offense just was not firing last year at all. And like I said, going against arguably the best defense in the nation this year as well. So Bama's defense is probably better than they were last year, and they had a decent defense last year. So FSU's going to struggle to move the ball, in my opinion. I don't think they're going to score very often. Alabama, I think FSU's going to stop Bama more than we think they will, but I don't think this game's going to be very close. Plus 13.5 for FSU, I wouldn't touch. What I'm taking is I'm going to take Bama minus 6.5 first half. So I think Bama's going to be leading by at least a touchdown in the first half. I think they're going to wear FSU down in the second half as well. I think they cover this 13.5 spread, but I like the 6.5 spread first half better. I think they're going to be up by at least a touchdown, and that's what I'm probably going to play it myself. So that is minus 145 odds. If you were wondering, you can get on Hard Rock minus 115 for the 13.5 spread full game if you want to take it that way. Up to you guys what you guys do in this one. So last game that I want to talk about on this one, probably one of my favorite games on the slate, and give me one momento, guys. So this is a game I got to talk about, man. LSU versus Clemson. I'm as excited about this game as I am about the Texas LSU game, just being honest with you. So Clemson playing at home, and let me get something clear, guys. I live very close to Clemson. Majority of people I talk to on a daily basis, friends, everything like that, you're either a Clemson fan or you're a Carolina fan, and it's broke down the middle, and they're always butting heads, and Clemson is one of those teams, like, used to be a big hater on Clemson. I didn't like the team. They're growing on me some. This year, Clemson has a chance to win it all, I think. And that's coming from someone who I said I'm not biased in any ways toward Clemson. I'm a Kentucky fan. But Clemson, I think they are going to be good this year. So let's look at this. Clemson minus 184 to win the game. Clemson minus 4.5 favorites, plus 104 odds on Profit X, if that's what that is. Over 57.5 total. The public has 57% of the bets and 60% of the money on LSU, 47% of the bets and 56% of the money on the spread for LSU. And then 90% of the money is on the over on this one, which it's a high total, but it's probably gonna go that way. And let me scroll back down because I misclicked here. But let's talk about this game, guys. So LSU versus Clemson. Clemson absolutely loaded this year, like I said. They got Cade Klubnik, who was a quarterback who shut a lot of people up last year. I didn't like Cade Klubnik last year. I thought he was going to be terrible, and he turned out to be pretty dang good. He had a good season. Their offensive line for Clemson only lost one player. They have one of the best wide receivers in the country in Antonio Williams. They have 2 more top-tier wide receivers to back up Cade Klubnik on this one. They did lose their 2 starting running. They lost their running backs. They did. They lost Phil Maffa. They lost a lot, but they do have Gideon Davidson, who is supposed to be a nice, fast track star running back this year. So we'll see how Gideon Davidson does in this game. LSU defense does have a decent amount returning, and they have what looks to be a solid defense. I know LSU is usually not a team that's known for being super good defense. They're usually pretty strong offensively, have a good pass game, things like that. But they're looking pretty good on defense, I think. They have a good secondary. This could cause Clemson some passing issues because I think Clemson's going to be a pass-heavy offense. I think Clemson's offense still is going to outmatch this LSU defense. I'm just being honest with you. That's my opinion on this game. LSU, and including on both sides of the ball, I think Clemson's offense is going to be too much for LSU's defense, and then Clemson's defense is going to be a tough matchup for LSU's offense as well. So let's look at that. Clemson's defense is going to be crazy good this year. One of the best defenses in the league, top 5 in my opinion, probably returning majority of their starters from last year. LSU offense, they do return Garrett Nussmeier. Nussmeier had a good season last year. The problem with LSU, and this is a big reason for me taking Clemson, LSU lost a lot of their offensive line. They lost 4 of their 5 offensive line starters. Their recruits they could have a great offensive line this year. Who knows? Based off of what I'm seeing and what I'm researching, I don't think their offensive line is going to be that good. And Clemson has a great defensive front. This defensive front for Clemson two potential NFL players is going to get to Nussmeier. And like I said, LSU's a passing offense, pass-first offense. Getting to Nussmeier is going to be a problem for LSU. I think they're going to have a hard time stopping the pass rush. I think Nussmeier is going to have he's going to be beat up this game a little bit, and I think Clemson's going to come out here and get the win. Now, I think, like I said, I think Clemson's going to be a national championship caliber team. And I'm not saying I think they go to the Natty, but I think they have a team that, if they play the way they're supposed to play, can make it to the Natty. And that being said, Clemson is a coin flip team in that aspect. Clemson throws games that they should not throw. They'll look like what Georgia Tech looked like last night with 3 turnovers in the first quarter and go down 21-0 in the first quarter. And then you're like, man, this game's over. And then somehow Clemson scores 3 touchdowns in the second quarter, and then it's 21-21. They're a team that's like, it's almost like Clemson is the epitome of sports betting. I'm talking to the point to where it's just like a roller coaster ride, man. They'll be up swings, and they're down, and they're up, then they're down. It'll be the same season. They're a team that should be super good, and they mess you up. But I like Clemson in this game, man, to win. I got a -4 at -115 odds. You can get them at -4.5 at +104. Pretty much the same play. I would take that if I had it on the app that I play on. I don't have Profit X. But anyways, I got a -4 at -115 odds if you want to play that one. That's one of my favorite games on the slate. One of my favorite plays on the slate. I think Clemson comes out here and they get them a good, nice win tonight. So that being said, guys, let's jump over to some player props. So the 2 apps that I got pulled up right now, I got Underdog Fantasy, and then we got Parlay Play. So our Underdog Challenge, I haven't been playing on this Underdog Challenge just because I didn't post them on YouTube. I didn't want to do that. So we got $168 from our $100 start in the Underdog Challenge still. So still a 1.7x on our bankroll. Like I said, I haven't played on Underdog in about 3 or 4 days. So nothing on the challenge in the last few days. Looking at Parlay Play, got about half my usual bankroll parlay play. I pulled a lot of it out just to make sure I'm profitable for the month. I like pulling money out at the beginning of the month, usually in terms of like kind of starting over. So we got $2,500 bankroll in parlay play, which is good. I left it at like $3,000. We went down about $400 in parlay play yesterday due to some injuries and no refunds. So unlucky on that. But anyways, let's talk about some of these player props for today. So player prop for today, the first one I like is going to be on the Clemson side of things. One of my favorite player props is going to be for Cade Klubnik. I like Klubnik in this game. I told you guys I think he's going to have a monster year, and I like Klubnik to get 1.5 passing TDs. So if you look at Klubnik last season, 79% of the games, 11 of 14, he had 2 passing touchdowns, which is a great line for Cade. Obviously, looking at last season's stats versus in week 1 is a bad thing to do. You kind of got to take it with a grain of salt, but everything I talked about in the Clemson game already suits this play. Like I told you guys, I think that Cade's going to have a great year. He's got an insanely good wide receiver core. He has Antonio Williams, one of the best wide receivers in the country at his side. I think Antonio Williams has a good game today or tonight, and they also lost their running back core. They got a couple running backs that are supposed to be decent, but we don't know. And we know Cade Klubnik's there. This is a big game. Dabo Swinney is not going to risk this game trying to. I mean, they're obviously going to run the ball some. You can't win a football game and not attempt to run the ball. But in terms of trying to run his offense off of his running backs, it ain't going to happen. So Cade Klubnik's going to be the core of this. He's going to come out here and sling the ball, and 2 touchdowns should be something that Cade Klubnik can do. So that's one of my favorite plays on the day on the slate in terms of player props, and you can get this on Underdog, Cade Klubnik. You can see, I think it's a 0.77x. I don't like the payout on this on Underdog. I don't think you can get Klubnik on parlay play at this. Maybe you can. So you can get him at 1.5 pass touchdowns on here. So we can take a look at this, and we can take a look at which platform has better odds, and you can kind of figure out where you want to play it. But that's one of my favorite plays. The play that I like to correlate with this one, if you want to play Cade Klubnik, is I like Antonio Williams. So Antonio Williams for Clemson as well. I like Antonio Williams to get 49.5 receiving yards. So I'm expecting him to get at least 50 receiving yards. He's catched it 7 of his last 10 games, and he catched it 8 of 14 games last season. Now, you're going against a team that has the 77th ranked pass defense from last year, 224 passing yards per game on average. Now, you can see our man Antonio Williams. He had 7.3 targets per game, and then his 5.4 receptions. You can see this one game versus Pittsburgh. He had 17 targets for 150 yards. So, dude had an insane season last year. He's going to be one of the cores this year that Cade Klubnik's going to look to, especially in this big opener versus LSU. I expect Antonio Williams to get a lot of looks today. I'm expecting at least 7 or 8 plus Targets, he's probably going to make a few big catches. I expect 50 receiving yards from him pretty easy tonight. I mean, obviously, it could go wrong. Clemson's a 56% pass rate team, and that was with 2 very good running backs last year. This year, obviously, I think they're going to pass the ball at least 56% of the time. Liking this play a lot. Antonio Williams, 49.5 receiving yards if you guys want to lock it in. So, Antonio Williams. Oh, my goodness, bro. Spelling his name is tough. And it is boosted on parlay play as well. And quick disclaimer, I did not know this was boosted on parlay play. That's crazy. Parlay play does not usually boost college football. This is the first day they boosted college football at all. So did not see that coming. Obviously, I can't play Cade Klubnik with Antonio Williams on here. We'll see what you can get Williams at. Antonio Williams, 64.5 is his original line. So they're not going to let you buy it down to that on Underdog. You can get him at 39.5, and we'll look at some things. You can't play these together, obviously. So we're going to have to mix these up a little bit, which we'll do. But those are the first 2 player props I like from Clemson. I like these 2. So got 2 more player props, and that's probably going to be it for the video if you guys like them or not. So anyways, last third player prop that I like for today is going to be for Deshaun Bishop. It's going to be the running back for Tennessee. I think Bishop has a good game today versus Ohio State. I know Ohio State has that good defense. I just said Ohio State. I meant Syracuse. Syracuse. My bad. So I actually like Bishop for over 72.5 rush and receiving yards. Now you can look at him from last season. It's different. Like obviously he's not the core running back for Tennessee last year or whatever. Anyways, looking at him, rush attempts per game, he averaged 7.4 rush attempts per game last year. You're looking at a team that runs the ball 58% of the time, ran the ball or passed the ball 42% of the time. You can look at their rushing attempts. Obviously, they had Dylan Sampson last year who had 258 rush attempts and 45% of the rush share. And then they had Nico, 109 rush attempts for 19% of the rush share last year. So Deshaun Bishop was third in line. He only had 12.8% of the rush share last year. I like him for both his rushing receiving yards and his rushing yards. So 72.5 is we locked in on a slip already for Dylan Bishop. You can pull him up over here. So Bishop. And we already talked about how this Syracuse defense looks. Syracuse is going to have a weak defense, man. I think Tennessee is going to exploit that. Their rushing yards allowed per game was 150. They were ranked 69th last year, and that was against some pretty mediocre teams. Then their receiving yards last year, 227 per game, ranked 82. So 2 mid-tier defenses versus pretty bad teams majority of the time. They're going against a strong team this year, in my opinion. I think Tennessee is going to be pretty good. I'm not trying to piss off, obviously, the Vols fans, whatever. But Deshaun Bishop should have a good game here tonight, both rushing and receiving yards. I think he gets a couple of good looks for some quick passes, and I think he has a great game. So 72.5 rush yards. You cannot get this over here on Parlay Play, unfortunately. You can buy him down. So 59.5 rush yards looks good. If we pair that with Klubnik, that gives us a 2.19x play. Let's see what other promos they have for college football. So they have Arch Manning, Singleton, Antonio Williams. Those are the only 3 they have. I like the Arch Manning play at 199.5. Let's do that. Let's do Arch Manning. So we're going to do Klubnik and Deshaun Bishop. Or can we do that? So neither of these are boosted. These 2 are boosted. So we got to pair these differently. So we got to do... The only way for us to pair these correctly would be Deshaun Bishop and Antonio Williams together, which is a 2.3x. So we'll put 250 on this one. And then we would have Arch Manning right here at 199.5, and we would pair him with Klubnik. Right? Is that what I just said? Is that what I just did? And this is a boost. I was getting rid of my boost for that. Anyways, Antonio Williams and Bishop, and then Klubnik with, yeah, that's right. So we went both quarterbacks together. Sorry, I'm struggling this morning. So Klubnik 1.5 pass touchdowns with Arch Manning 199.5 pass yards, because I think Arch Manning throws for 200 today. This gives you another double up. I'll probably play Klubnik on another slip, but I do like those 2. So there's 2 slips. Don't worry about this one. This on the screen, I had a parlay play boost, and I just had to get rid of it. And I didn't want to accidentally lock in a parlay play boost for... Anyway, if you play on parlay play, you'll understand what I'm saying. But Klubnik and Manning, and then we got Antonio Williams and Bishop. So looking at Klubnik, or Manning, Obviously, Quinn Ewers was the starting quarterback for Texas last year. Manning didn't have very many starts. He had a couple starts versus Mississippi State and ULM. You can see he threw for over 300 in those, or most of those. He's got a lot of potential, man. I think that Ohio State's I think Texas wins. This is going to be a tough game. 200 pass yards is still going to be tough. His line set at 230. I don't think this is going to be like a free play or anything, but Arch Manning should throw for 200 tonight in a game like this. I'm talking national championship style game. I think both offenses are going to move the ball slightly. I think it's going to be a very defensive game as well, but also 200 yards is doable for Arch Manning, and he should come out here and do this. Hopefully he has a good game. Hopefully no injuries on any side on any teams today. That would be awesome. You know how football is. Football is very physical. Lots of injuries happen. Hopefully, these guys do stay healthy. But I like Arch Manning. The games that he played, he had 31 and 29 pass attempts in those two games. So he's going to be slinging the ball. They passed the ball 51%, run the ball 49%. You can look at their rush attempts here. I mean, nothing really that I'm looking at for that. But anyways, like this play a lot. Arch Manning, 199.5. So that's what I got for today in player props, guys. I'm going to fade baseball today. I know this video is over 30 minutes long already. Hopefully you guys don't mind. I gave you guys like 5 different money lines or 5 different sportsbook plays that you can play. I'm not saying play all those. Pick the ones you like, fade the ones you don't. I gave you guys 2 free slips on here. We can try to run these on Underdog for the challenge. So Cade Klubnik. We can see what they have for Arch Manning on here. So 199.5 on this one is a 1.8x. Who else do we have that we could play? So we can get a profit boost too. So college football only, discount on the Tigers. So Cade Klubnik, 243 pass yards. Antonio Williams, 58 receive yards. I think the Klubnik pass yards is the best of these. Let's take that. Promo needs at least 3 picks. So we could run Bishop here, rushing yards or rushing receive yards and buy it down. If we did this, gives you a 3.5x. We can put $10 on this one. Why will it not let me play? This is not a promo, right? Okay. Anyways, so for our Underdog challenge, we'll put $10 on this one, 10 to win 35. We'll play it. We got Arch Manning, we got Deshaun Bishop, and we got the Cade Klubnik play. So we'll confirm that. I think, yeah, it took our money. So if we go to live and go to pick 'em, so we got it locked in. We're good there. And then I'm going to run the Cade Klubnik 1.5 pass TDs too, because that's one of my favorite plays on the day. Like if I had to pick a play of the day, it'd probably be this one, even though the payout's not great on that one. And then I guess run it with Deshaun Bishop. What else do we have here? What else can we look at? Let's just click college football. And we're back to our sloppier type videos, guys. Remember, this is me researching live. So let's go to some games that we know should be pretty fast-paced. Let's go to UK. Let's look at Calzada. Calzada has 216 pass yards. We buy him down to 175. This gives us a 1.75x. I don't dislike this for a unit and a half. I really don't. I think Calzada's going to throw the ball. They're going to sling the ball for sure versus Toledo. 174.5 pass yards is doable. $15 wins that one. That'll be a 1.5 unit play. I like this. We're going to play that. So there we go. There's 2 Underdog plays if you want to play on Underdog. You can probably play them on Prizepicks as well if you wanted to. But let's take a look. Pick them. We got Klubnik, 1.5 pass touchdowns with Zach Calzada over 175 passing yards. And then we got Arch Manning, Klubnik, and Deshaun Bishop over here on the 3-man Tigers free play or whatever. But anyways, that's what I've got for today, guys. Hope you guys enjoy the video. If you guys prefer me doing them like this, then cool. I don't even know why I have this set up right here because I didn't make the things pop up because it just takes so long. It takes so long compared to kind of just going and talking about it. But that being said, guys, let me know. I ask this every video, but let me know what you guys think. Do you prefer it the way I'm doing it now? I know some of you guys like the setup with the stuff popping up, but is it really worth it to? Or maybe I just do this on NFL and college football days. I don't know, man. I'm still trying to figure out how I want to do this. I like the new style. I think it looks good, but I do want everybody to enjoy the videos too, especially long-term viewers who said that they didn't like the new style as much. So I want them, the people who've been supporting me for a long time, to still enjoy the videos. But anyways, guys, hope you have an awesome day. Hope you cash everything. Join our Discord if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one.